Hi, I'm Harriet and I'm going to be your yoga teacher for today. I'm from Bournemouth in the UK and we are going to go through a rocket free inspired sequence. So if you have two blocks, that would be great. I like to set them up either side of my mat before I get started. And if you have any modifications or variations that I don't mention throughout the practice, please feel free to take them. Also, if you feel like you need a rest throughout the practice, you could rest in downward facing dog or child's pose. And I'll talk you through both of those poses before we get started with our main sequences. We're going to start in a seated position. So either on your mat, perhaps on a blanket or a cushion if you don't have a block. I like to sit with my hips up on the block, one ankle crossed in front of the other. Find a comfortable seat before resting your hands on your thighs or knees. Perhaps start to close down your eyes or find somewhere to take your gaze and start to soften it. Perhaps see if you can sit up a little taller, tucking your tailbone in. Roll your shoulders back and down, pulling them away from your ears. Bring the top of your head up so your neck is a little longer. And just start to notice how you're feeling today, how your body feels. Once you've checked in with your body, maybe start to check in with your breath. Just noticing it to start off with. Then perhaps try and make your inhales and exhales a little longer. Keep sitting up as tall as you can. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, start to lift your arms up above your head. Big stretch, reach your arms towards the ceiling at the top. And exhale, float your arms down. Starting to match movement with breath. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Keep sitting up tall. Inhale, up. And exhale down. Take a few more of these in your own time. Inhaling up and exhale to bring your arms down. Find length at the top, big stretch as you exhale down. One more in your own time. And rest your hands back on your thighs when you are ready. If your eyes are closed, you could either keep them closed or bat your eyelids open. And come through into an extended child's pose. Big toes to touch, knees out towards the edges of your mat. And walk your hands forwards towards the front edge of your mat. As I mentioned earlier, this is your resting pose. If throughout the practice you feel you need to take a break, this is a great pose to return to. Keep sending your hips back and down towards your heels. Forehead can come to rest on the mat here. And maybe start to crawl your fingers forwards towards the front edge of your mat. Keep pulling your hips back as you do this. Big stretch down the sides of your body. Start to walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. Perhaps your hands walk off the edge of your mat. Feel the stretch down the right hand side of your body. Walk your hands back through centre. Over to the right hand side of your mat. Perhaps they come off your mat. And feel that big stretch down the left hand side of your body. Keep sending your hips back and pressing your arms forwards. Back through centre, one more time, over to the left. If you'd like a little more this time, right hand can come on top of your left. Pull your hips back towards your heels. Exhale back through centre. And inhale to walk your hands over, find length. Option for left hand to stack on top of your right. Send your hips back and hands forwards. And exhale back to extended child's pose. Forehead to touch the mat here. When you're ready, start to press through the palms of your hands, spread your fingers wide, press through your shins and your feet against the mat as you bring your shoulders forwards. Align your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees, ready for tabletop. Tailbone tucked here, push through your shoulders and try and get your feet as flat on the floor as you can at the back. Flat back in tabletop first. On an inhale, start to drop your belly down. Pull your chest through your shoulders and look up. Cow pose. Exhale, round through your back. Really tuck your tailbone in and gaze towards your belly button for cat. Inhale to cow, dropping your belly down towards the mat. Pull your shoulders away from your ears and down as your chest comes through, look up. Exhale, rounding through the shoulders. Really push the mat away from you and look towards your belly button. Inhale, cow, belly down, look up. And exhale, cat. Round through the shoulders, look towards your belly button. Take a few more rounds in your own time. Inhale, cow, and remember to exhale to cat. Matching movement with breath. You may want to find a little movement in the transitions or in the poses. Maybe moving side to side or forwards and backwards as you move through your cat and your cow. Whatever feels good for you today. Wherever you are, take one more. Inhaling cow. Remember to exhale to cat. And when you're ready, return to your tabletop flat back position. Keep pressing through your palms, shoulders away from your ears. Really press your feet into the mat at the back. Tuck your toes at the back this time. From here, inhale, reach your right hand up, look up. Pull your chest through towards the edge of your mat. And exhale, thread the needle. Right shoulder and head comes down to the ground. Option for the left hand to stay where it is, or you could stretch it out long, or perhaps even find a bind, bringing your left hand to your right hip. Wherever you are, make sure your left hand comes back underneath your shoulder first. To inhale, big stretch up, look up, and exhale, thread the needle once more. Shoulder and head to mat, find that comfortable position with your left hand. On an inhale, stretch up, look up, open your chest, and exhale, right hand comes down, back to tabletop. On an inhale, left hand reaches up this time, look up. Big stretch, even stretch through your fingers at the top. Keep pushing through that right hand, and exhale to thread the needle. Find your position with your right hand. Perhaps find a bind. Right hand comes to left hip if you're looking for that this time. Inhale to come up. Find length at the top. Look up. And exhale, thread your left arm through your right. Shoulder and head to mat. Inhale to come up. And exhale, plant your left hand back to tabletop. Shoulders over wrists, flat back here. Tuck your back toes. And on an exhale, hips come up first. And press back into your downward facing dog. Heels come down as far as you can get them. Keep pushing through your shoulders and make sure you have a slight micro bend in your elbows for your downward facing dog. You may want to bend and straighten your legs one at a time to feel a stretch down the back of your legs. Or you might want to hold your first downward dog still. Wherever you are, make sure you keep pulling your hips up high and keep pressing the mat away with your hands. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, rise up on your tiptoes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forwards between your hands and step one foot up, followed by the other. Inhale to find your halfway lift. This is a great place to use your blocks if you need them. Make sure you have a flat back in your halfway lift. Keep pulling your hips towards the back of the mat, tuck your tailbone. Option for hands to maybe come to your shins or ankles or fingertips to the mat. And on an exhale, we fold, bending your knees generously, stomach to thighs, hips up high. Let your head relax down here. Keep pulling your hips up high. And inhale, bend through the knees, round your back like we did in cat pose, rolling all the way up to standing. Big stretch up at the top, reach up, look up, and press your palms together, bring them down to your heart. In your mountain pose here, press evenly through your feet. Draw your legs up using your leg muscles to pull yourself up. Tuck your tailbone. Maybe even roll your shoulders back and down so you're nice and active in your standing posture. Inhale, arms come up, look up. And exhale, bend your knees, forward fold. Use your blocks here if you need. Stomach to thighs, relax your head down. Inhale, find your halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands flat on the floor. Spread your fingers wide, right toes step back, followed by your left. Keep your feet apart at the back. Heels draw towards the back of the mat. Push through your shoulders. Tuck your tailbone here in your plank and squeeze your glutes. Maintaining that engagement, see if you can slowly lower your knees down and untuck your toes at the back. Modified plank. We're going to go through our chaturanga and the modifications for that if you wish to take them during today's practice. So from our modified plank, keeping that engagement in your body, tuck tailbone, squeeze glutes, push through the shoulders. Lean your shoulders over your fingers, start to bend your arms, keeping your elbows next to your ribs. When you get to a point where your shoulders are in line with your elbows, hold. And then slowly come all the way down to the floor, forehead touches the mat. Engage your legs at the back. Squeeze your glutes. Roll your shoulders back and down. And then start to peel your chest off the mat and through your shoulders for baby cobra. Option to hover your hands here. And exhale, release. So the push-up was your modified chaturanga. And there's always options to take baby cobra there as well. Push through your hands. Return to tabletop first. Tuck your toes and hips up high, downward facing dog. Heels press down towards the mat. Push through your shoulders. Inhale, rise up on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forwards. And inhale, right leg steps forwards, followed by the left. Half lift. And exhale to fold. Stomach to thighs. Perhaps try and see if you can get your hips a little higher this time. Maintaining that contact. Inhale to roll up to standing. Stretch up, look up. Press your palms together and bring your hands down to your heart. One more time, inhale, arms up, look up, and exhale to fold. Bend your knees, stomach to thighs. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, tailbone tucked. And exhale, plant your hands flat, spread your fingers wide. Left toes step back this time, followed by the right. Make sure your feet are apart at the back. Option from here to lower your knees into your plank and chaturanga. If not, we'll talk through chaturanga to upward facing dog. Keep pushing through your heels, tuck your tailbone first. Push through your shoulders. As you bring your shoulders over your fingers first, then bend through the arms, keeping them tucked into your body. Shoulders in line with elbows at the bottom. Then flip your toes. Push through to your upward facing dog. Keep a micro bend in your elbows here and keep your legs engaged and try and get your thighs off the mat. Pull your chest through. Exhale, hips up high. Flip your toes back over and find your downward facing dog. Keep pushing through your shoulders, keep that micro bend through the elbows. Inhale up on your toes. Exhale, bend the knees, look forwards. And inhale, step your left foot forwards this time, followed by the right, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale, roll up to standing. Arms come up, look up. Press your palms together and bring them down to your heart. Find your engagement in your mountain pose first. Really tuck your tailbone in. And this time, as we sweep our arms up overhead, we're going to drop our hips and bend our knees into chair pose. Inhale, arms come up, knees bend, chair pose. Keep your thighs parallel. Maybe have a peek down and see if you can see your toes. If you can, you're in the right place. If not, see if you can pull your knees and hips back just a little more. Tailbone tucked here. If your shoulders are feeling uncomfortable, you can always bring your hands to your heart. Hold for 3 more. 2. Maybe sink a little lower. 1. And exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands flat, spread your fingers wide, right toe step back this time, followed by the left. Find your engaged plank position. Then wherever you are, modified or full plank, shoulders come over fingers first. Use the push through your toes to help you enable this. Exhale to lower down through chaturanga, shoulders in line with elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog. Remember to flip your feet at the back. Pull your chest through, shoulders away from ears. And exhale, hips up high, downward facing dog. On an inhale, right leg is going to rise towards the ceiling, 3-leg dog. Exhale, right knee to your nose. See if you can hold here first. Before you step your right toes behind your right wrist. Turn your left toes at the back. Prepare for warrior 1. Square your hips. Inhale, arms come up. Pull your right hip back. Push your left hip forwards. And exhale, hands down. Step your right toes back. Tuck your tailbone, squeeze your glutes. Knees can come down or off. If you're on your knees, make sure you untuck your toes. Shoulders over fingers. Exhale down through chaturanga. And inhale up to your back bend to find length. Engage through the lower body. Exhale, tuck your toes. Hips push up high to downward facing dog. Left hand side this time. Inhale. Left leg rises, 3-leg dog. Keep pushing through your shoulders. Exhale, left knee to your nose. Before you step your foot through, it comes behind your left wrist. Turn your back toes. Prepare for warrior 1. Square your hips first. Inhale, arms up. Look up. And exhale, plant your hands. Step your left toes back. Plank. Come into high plank first, so that's shoulders over fingers. Exhale, chaturanga. Elbows next to ribs. Inhale, upward facing dog. Pull your chest through, look up. Exhale, hips up high first. Downward facing dog. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, rise up on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forwards. And this time, step, hop, float. Land lightly at the top of your mat. Find your halfway lift first. Flat back. Before you exhale, down, forward, fold. Stomach to thighs. We return through chair. So bend your knees generously, drop your hips down, keep your flat back position as you sweep your arms up, keeping your thighs parallel, tailbone touch, shoulders back and down. Chair pose. Options, take your palms to your heart if you need. Hold for 2 more. 1. Inhale to rise up, look up. And exhale, palms to your heart. 1 more sun salutation B. Inhale, arms come up, hips go down. Keep those thighs parallel. Maybe have that look at your toes to check that your weight is sitting in the right place. Tuck your tailbone flat back. Maybe sink a little lower. And exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands flat on the floor. You can step your left toes back this time, or if you'd like to have a go, bend in the knees. Keep a micro bend in your elbows and see if you can jump and land lightly in your plank. Find that engagement straight away. Keep pushing through your shoulders. Shoulders over fingers first. Exhale, down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, hips up high, tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Push through your shoulders. Keep pulling your hips up. Heels down. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, right knee to your nose first. Pull it in. And then step your right foot up. Turn your left toes. Inhale, up, warrior one. Hips facing the front of your mat. Exhale, hands down. Plant your hands. Instead of stepping back this time, keep your hands and feet where they are. Then turn your left toes so they're facing towards the front edge of your mat. And you may want to readjust your right foot. Option to see if you can lift your leg up high and try 3 of these. Or option to take 3 little hops here towards your L-shaped handstand. Push through the front leg and just hop your foot off the mat as high as is comfortable for you. When you've done your 3, coming back to your plank. Shoulders over fingers. Engage through your midline. Exhale, down to chaturanga. Inhale, find length through your back bend. Up dog or cobra. And exhale, tuck your toes, hips up high. Downward facing dog. On an inhale, left leg rises, 3-leg dog. Exhale, left knee to your nose. Step your left foot behind your left wrist. Turn your back toes. Square your hips. Inhale, warrior one. And exhale, hands down. Hands flat, fingers wide. Turn your back toes to face the front of your mat and adjust your left foot. Option for your 3 kicks or your 3 hops. Keep pushing through your shoulders and your palms as we do in plank and downward facing dog. After you've done your 3, returning through plank. Shoulders over fingers, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Shoulders in line with elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. One breath here together. Inhale and exhale. Hips up high. Inhale, rise up on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forwards. And inhale, step, hop, float. Halfway lift at the top. And exhale to fold. We come back through chair. Drop your hips down, bend your knees. And inhale to lift your hands up high. This time we stay in chair as we start our sun salutation C. Link your fingers together, press your palms forwards, maybe sink a little lower. Remembering to keep that flat back. Perhaps your stomach can come further towards your thighs. And exhale to fold. From here, plant your hands flat, heel toe your feet out towards the edges of your mat. You may want to point your big toes out towards the corners of the room, heels in slightly. As you start to lower your hips down into your Malasana low squat. This is a great place to either use one block or stack your blocks up underneath your hips. Heels may not come down to the mat straight away, so that's fine if heels are lifted. Hands could come to the mat or work towards getting your hands towards your heart. Wherever you are, see if you can use your elbows, so push your knees out slightly And draw your chest towards your palms as we do in up dog. Option to stay here in your low squat, or if you'd like to have a go, we'll have a go at crow pose now. If you have your crow, you could start to prepare. If not, I will talk us through the steps. So from low squat, hands come down to the mat, fingers spread wide. I like to bring my hips back up high first, hands underneath my shoulders. Then draw your elbows in towards the centre of your mat, bending them to make a shelf for you to place your knees upon. From here, you might want to just work on raising your toes up to get your knees towards your armpits or the top of your arms. If you can do that, you might want to have a play with both heels lifting up on your toes at the same time. From here, that's when you could start to play with leaning forwards into this counterbalance, keeping your gaze towards the front edge of the mat, and perhaps lift one toe, and then work to lift the other. If you're already in your crow, think about pulling your heels towards your bum, rounding through your back, like we do in cat. Wherever you are, when you are finished, we return to squat. If you're holding, let's hold for 2 more. 1, and we will come back to squat. Hips low, elbows pushing your knees out, and chest towards your hands. Plant your hands flat. See if you can keep your feet where they are, and either step or hop, land lightly into your plank pose. Keep that micro bend in your elbows. Bring your hips up a little and see if you can move your feet back. Plank pose here. Engage through the shoulders and glutes. Come forward, shoulders over fingers. Exhale down through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Thighs off the mat. And exhale, hips up high, downward facing dog. Push through your shoulders, spread your fingers. There shouldn't be too much weight in your wrists in your downward facing dog. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, right leg lifts up towards the ceiling, 3-leg dog. Exhale, right knee towards your nose, and step your right toes through. Prepare for warrior 1. Turn your back toes. Inhale, arms come up. Pull your right hip back, push your left hip forwards. Warrior 1. Option for your palms to come to your heart if it's uncomfortable in your shoulders at all. From here, you may want to move your feet as we move into warrior 2. Heels come in line for warrior 2. Generous bend through the front knee. Hips open this time towards the side of the room and stretch your arms out long. Tuck your tailbone. Maybe find a slight tuck of the chin here. Start to straighten through your front leg to prepare for triangle. Keep that micro bend in both legs though, rather than completely locking it out. And start to tip your body forward, reaching to either a block, perhaps your shin, or maybe even fingertips towards the mat. Left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Wherever you are, try and pull your chest through towards the side of the room. Keep your neck long. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. On your exhale, reach your left hand over the top as you place your hands on blocks or on the mat. And move your feet so they are on either sides of the mat again. Train trap feet here. Keep them a similar distance apart. Square hips this time. So pull your right hip back, push your left hip forwards. Inhale to find length. And then exhale. Relax down. Perhaps your nose comes towards your knee or shin for pyramid pose. Keep squaring your hips. If you're finding this hard, perhaps bend your knees a little more. Inhale to come up, find length. Keep your feet where they are in your pyramid position. And you may want to use a block on the inside of your right foot. Left hand comes down this time, right hand reaches up. Reverse triangle. Keep squaring your hips. Keep finding that micro bend. Using your quads to pull your kneecaps up and stay engaged. Exhale, hands down to the mat or to blocks. Move your feet back to your warrior two position. Heels in line, left foot points out towards the left edge of your mat. Bend generously through that front leg as you come up, back to warrior two. Keeping that bend through your front leg, start to tip your body forwards, right elbow to right knee. Big stretch over the top into an extended side angle. Your hand could also come down towards the floor here, if that's what you're working on in your practice at the moment. Keep pushing through that right elbow on your right knee. Try not to sink down. Keep pulling your left arm towards the front of the room. Keep reaching that left arm forwards as both hands come down to blocks or the mat. Square your hips again. Left toes and right toes both facing forwards now. As you inhale, keep bending through that front knee. Rise up to high lunge. Slowly lower down until your left knee comes to the mat. Palms to your heart. And we'll find a twist here in our reverse side angle. Left elbow to right knee. Option to push through your back toes and lift your back knee here, or stay where you are. Palms could be at your heart, arms out wide, or you may even want to work to find a bind, reaching your hands to your opposite hip. Wherever you are, keep holding. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, sweep your arms back up, high lunge. And exhale, plant your hands. Step your right toes back. Move your blocks if you need to as we come into our plank position. Squeeze your glutes, shoulders over fingers. Exhale, down through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, hips up high, downward facing dog. Keep pulling your hips up towards the ceiling, pressing your heels down, even if they don't reach the mat. And keep pushing through your shoulders. Keeping this engagement in your downward facing dog. Start to lower your elbows down towards the ground for your dolphin pose. Your legs may want to bend here, that's absolutely fine, but keep pulling your hips up high. Option to hold here, if you'd like to take it a little further. Thumbs can come together. These are our arms that we will want to eventually use for Pincha. Rise up on your toes And see if you can lean your shoulders forwards over your elbows. Get your nose as close as you can to your thumbs. Maybe they even touch. Push back. We'll go for 2 more of those. Inhaling forwards, nose to thumbs. Exhale, push back, hips up high. 1 more, inhale. Exhale, push back, hips up. Well done, everybody. Knees down. And take a moment to rest in your child's pose. Forehead to touch the mat. Let your shoulders fall down over your knees. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, prepare your hands, reach out in front of you. And exhale, hips up high, downward facing dog. Left hand side now. Press with your shoulders in your downward facing dog first. Inhale, leg towards the ceiling, left hand side this time. Exhale, knee to nose. And step your left toes through behind your left wrist. Prepare for warrior 1. Keep pushing through both feet evenly. As you inhale, sweep your arms up. Left hip back, right hip forwards. Inhale. As you exhale, adjust your feet so they're on a tightrope. Heels in line. Generous bend through your front knee. Warrior 2. Keep pulling your arms out towards the edges of the room. Make sure your hips are open to the side of the room. Tuck your tailbone. From warrior 2, start to straighten through that front leg. But stop where you find that micro bend. And exhale, tip yourself down. Using a block if you need. Triangle pose. Keep your hips open. Keep pulling your chest through and pushing through your feet. Perhaps you look up towards your right thumb. Inhale. And exhale, hands down to the mat or to blocks. Move your feet so they're back on your train tracks. So feet on either sides of your mat. Pull your left hip back, right hip forwards. Inhale to find length. And exhale to fold, pyramid pose. Nose down towards your knee. Make sure you've got that micro bend in your knees. Inhale. And exhale. Maybe see if you can sink down a little further. Inhale to find length. And place your block ready for our reverse triangle. Right hand comes down to the mat or a block. Really pull your left hip back, push your right hip forwards. As you inhale, reach your left arm up. Pull your chest through towards that left hand side of the room. Bend your knees slightly if that makes the pose more available to you. And on your exhale, hands come down to the mat or a block. Readjust your feet, ready for warrior 2. Heels in line, right toes point towards the right edge of the mat. Generous bend through that front knee now. As you inhale, arms come up. Warrior 2 again on your left hand side. Push through the feet evenly, tuck your tailbone. Start to lean your body forwards. Left hand comes to left thigh. Perhaps your left hand even comes to the floor as you find length over the top. And pull up through your upper body. Make sure you're not resting your elbow and leaning down into it on that left thigh. Extended side angle. Keep reaching your right fingertips towards the front of the room. Inhale, find length. And exhale, keep reaching that right arm forwards as you bring your hands to blocks or the mat. Square your hips again, both toes facing forwards now. Keep that generous bend in the front knee. Inhale, arms up, high lunge first. Exhale to slowly lower your knee down to the ground at the back. Palms meet at your heart. Tuck your tailbone here. Make sure your hips are square. As you twist, right arm comes to left knee. Push your elbow against your thigh. Pull your chest towards your hands. Option to lift the back knee here, pushing through your back toes. And find where you'd like to place your arms today. Perhaps they open. You may find a bind, or they could stay at your heart. Inhale. Keep pushing through those legs. Make sure your back leg is engaged. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep pushing. Inhale to sweep your arms back up, high lunge first. And exhale, hands down, left foot steps back. Move your blocks first if you need to. Then find your plank position, pulling your heels back, pushing through your shoulders. Shoulders over fingers, keep your body straight as you lower down. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or baby cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Hips up high, heels down. Find your really engaged downward dog position first. So push through your palms as if you're pushing the mat away from you. Heels down and hips up. Keep that as you lower your elbows down again. Option to hold dolphin. Also, option to do your nose to thumbs like we did previously. If you'd like to have a go at your pincha pose, if you already have it, go there now, but make sure you're lifting up into your pincha rather than jumping up. If you need to jump, perhaps keep working and getting your nose to your thumbs, as that will build up your strength for lifting. Perhaps walk your feet in, thumbs together, elbows under your shoulders. One leg can lift, and then perhaps the other. Maybe just hold one leg lifted. If you're holding your pincha or any other variation, we'll hold for 3 more, 2, on 1, wherever you are. Even if one leg is lifted, control it on the way down, coming slowly down to your child's pose. Forehead to rest on the mat. Let your shoulders drape over your knees. Inhale and exhale. Relax those shoulders even more. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, reach your hands forwards to prepare. And exhale, tuck your toes, hips up high. Find your downward facing dog. From here, we're going to travel to the back of the mat. There are a few options. First option is to push through your shoulders and see if you can just walk your hands back. We all meet in a forward fold at the back of your mat. If you'd like to have a go at whooshing your hands back towards your feet, lean forwards, bend through your knees and arms. You may even want to shorten your stance. That can make it a little easier to begin with. Really push through your hands and shoulders as you whoosh your fingers back into your forward fold. Hips up high, stomach to thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, get your peace fingers, wrap them round your big toe, thumbs on top of your big toe, and find your fold here. Elbows coming out towards the side. Relax your head down and use the push of your toes and your pull of your fingers to see if you can come deeper into your fold. Bend your knees if you need to here. Inhale to release, come up. Halfway lift. And as you exhale this time, hands tuck underneath your feet. Perhaps you can get your toes as far towards your wrists as possible. Maybe only your fingers are here to start off with. Wherever you are, find that length first. Inhale. Bend your knees if you need to. And exhale, elbows come out towards the side. Push through your toes into your palms and pull up through your palms. Relax your head down. Now maybe work to straighten the legs. But keep contact with your stomach and your thighs. Inhale to come up, release, halfway lift. And exhale, hips down, come into a crouch just for a moment whilst I explain how we're going to travel towards the front of the mat today. Hips are coming up, hands are going to plant flat on the mat, hips are going to come up high, and we're going to practice some toe taps towards the front of our mat today. So, option is either to push through your shoulders, arms must remain straight, whatever option you're doing. See if you can lift one foot and tap a wrist, step forwards, and then the other foot, step forwards. Then move your hands forwards and see if you can go again as you travel towards the front of your mat. If you're finding this hard, do it with bent legs to begin with as you step forwards. If you want to have a go at lifting, see if you can make sure you really press through your shoulders first, really push that mat away, rise up onto your toes, shoulders forwards, and tap with both feet to your wrists before you then move your hands forwards. Find length, lift up. Keep moving all the way to the front of your mat. Whatever option you're doing, straight arms, find lift, pull your hips up, and we meet in a forward fold at the top of your mat. Perhaps opposite hand, opposite elbow here, and find a gentle sway, side to side, or maybe even forwards and backwards, before you release your hands down, and bend through your knees. Inhale all the way up to standing now. Take it slowly. We've spent a lot of time inverted, so make sure you rise slowly up to stand. Hands stretch up at the top, press your palms together and bring them down to your heart. Really engage in your mountain pose. Tuck your tailbone, pull your leg muscles up, chest towards your palms. Start to transfer your weight over into your left leg and start to pull your right knee up towards your palms. Keep engagement through the left leg, pulling your left hip up to help you maintain your balance here. Left hand is going to come to your left hip. Right hand can either come to your knee, or option to see if you can get your peace fingers wrapped around your big toe and work to straighten your front leg. Pull your shoulder back, try not to lean forwards, keeping your chest up tall. Wherever you are, we're taking the leg out to the side now. Keep your engagement through your left leg, pulling up tall. Maybe see if you can even extend your head up to make your neck a little longer. Come back through centre and then come back to your bent leg. One leg up, press through your left leg. Start to cross your right ankle over your left knee and start to bend your left leg coming down into standing figure 4 stretch. Maybe your palms stay at your heart and your elbows and forearms rest gently along that leg. Great place to use your blocks if you want to feel a really nice stretch in your right glute. You could even have a play with an arm balance here. So hands come down to the mat first. And make sure your fingers are spread wide. Knee and top of your foot to the top of your arms. Lean forwards into your flying pigeon. Maybe the leg stays bent. You could work to straighten it. Wherever you are, let's meet back in your figure 4. If your hands are still on the mat, see if you can really pull up through your chest, maintaining your balance as you come back to standing. Right knee up, palms together first, and then slowly release down, back to standing. Make sure your weight is spread evenly through your feet to start off with. And then start to transfer your weight over to your right hand side this time. Left knee comes up. Pull it up into your chest as much as you can. Left hand to left knee, right hand, right hip. Or option for peace fingers around your left toes. Extend that front leg. Keep holding. Keep pulling yourself upright, shoulders away from your ears. Left leg comes out towards the side. Make sure you stay upright. Keep your right leg muscles engaged. And try not to sink into your hip. Come back slowly through centre. Bending your knee first if it's extended. And palms back to your heart. Left leg crosses over your right knee this time, bending down into your figure 4 stretch. Options for forearms to leg, maybe hands to blocks. Find a really nice glute stretch. Or maybe even hands to mat. Option again to play with your flying pigeon. Then through the arms as you do this, like we did in crow pose earlier, to find your knee and foot to triceps. And again, counterbalance, looking forwards. Maybe the leg bends to start off with, and you work to straighten it. Coming back through figure 4. Maybe use your hands to blocks to help you maintain your balance. Make sure you pull through that right hip. Chest comes up. Palms meet at your heart as you uncross your legs. Knee up first. Hold. And slowly control it down to standing. You may want to place your blocks in front of you now to the right hand side of your mat in case you need them for our wide leg fold. From mountain, right foot steps out, really nice and wide, arms to a T here. Option to take your hands to your hips as well. This will make it slightly easier. Or option to have your arms out to the side if you want a bit more of a challenge. Micro bend in your knees, send your hips back. Keep your back as flat as you can for as long as you can. When you get to the point where you can't keep your back flat any longer, stop. See if you can hold. And then release down, hands on blocks or to the floor. Bend your knees to allow yourself into this pose a little bit more. If your hands are on the mat, see if you can get them in line with your feet on that tight rope, and then relax your head down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Make sure you've still got that slight bend, hips up high. Inhale, halfway lift here. Use your blocks if you need. Flat back. And then turn your right toes towards the back edge of your mat this time. And use your blocks with your hands to walk yourself round into a low lunge with your right leg in front and left leg out behind you. Hips square here as we start to have a look at some split work. Send your hips back, peel your right toes off the mat here, and I like to have my left toes untucked at the back if I'm working splits. This is our half splits. Use your blocks here, either side of you. Now really pull your right hip back like you want to try and pull your right heel towards you, but it's not going to move. So just pull and feel that against the mat. Engage your left leg as well. Squeeze it in towards you and see if you can lift your hands off the blocks here. Hold. And then hands down. Stay there, or option to wiggle your right heel forwards a little bit further. Find that pull of your right hip first and the push of your left leg in before you try and lift yourself up off your blocks. And relax. Option to take it a little further. This will be the last time. Perhaps see how far you can go, but remembering you're going to need to take your hands off the blocks. Pull your right hip back, left hip forwards, lift up, and release. Option to stay where you are for a moment longer, or if you'd like to see how far you can now get down into your splits, remembering to keep your hips square, then please feel free. Maybe if you are in your split, see if you can hover your hands, finding that engagement with both hips. Slowly come out, whatever position you are in. See if you can come back to that low lunge. Use your blocks if you need to help press yourself up. Tuck your back toes now as we're going to move back around to the right hand side of your mat, coming all the way round. So now we're facing towards the front edge of your mat with your left leg in front. Low lunge first, untuck your back toes, and then send your hips back. Peel your left toes off the mat for your half splits. Move your blocks back a little so you can get your shoulders over your wrists. Now pull through your left hip, like you're trying to pull your heel towards you. Left leg, not left leg, right leg engages, squeezes in towards you as you try and lift your hands off the blocks. Hold. Keep squeezing. And release. Option to stay in that position or slide your left heel forwards a little more. Pull with your left, push with your right. See if you can find lift. An active stretch really helps you work towards your splits, or if you have your splits, it helps to deepen it further. Left leg reaches forwards a little bit more. Last time. Find that engagement. Pull through your left heel and hip. Push your right leg in. Make sure both legs are engaged, otherwise it's going to be very difficult. And arms up, hold. And release. Option to sink down a little lower. Find your splits or see how far you can go. But remembering to see if you can keep that pull and push going with your hips. And that will help you keep your hips square as well. This time, when you release, keep your left leg out long and then sit your hips down. Wide legs here as we get ready for our Mula Bandha checkups. I'm going to place my blocks in front of me. You could use these for your checkups, either side of your leg if you like. But I'm going to use the floor. So sit up tall, arms reach up high. And exhale to fold, hands come either side of your right leg. Really engage your legs here to start off with. Maybe try and engage so much that your heels already come off the floor. Inhale to find length. Exhale to fold. As you inhale this time, you're going to push the floor away so you can lift your right heel off the ground. Inhale, push away. Hold and then release. This time, option to see if you can lift your whole right leg off the floor. Maybe even both legs can come off the floor. So inhale, find length. Exhale to fold. Inhale, push the ground away from you. Engage through your leg. Maybe your whole leg comes off the ground, maybe both. And release. Sit up tall, big reach first. Engage your legs. And exhale, fold over your left leg here. Inhale, find length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, push the floor away, left heel lifts up. And release. Exhale to fold. Inhale, find length. Exhale, fold, and this time, same, or maybe whole leg or both legs come off. Inhale, push the ground away. And see what option you can find today. And release. From here, we're going to stay on your bum and come round to the front of your mat. Cross your legs here, reach your hands forwards and step yourself back into your downward facing dog. Push the mat away from you, hips up high, heels down. Inhale, rise up on your toes, bring your shoulders over your wrists into your plank. Keep going until your shoulders find themselves over your fingers. Exhale down through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Pull your shoulders away from your ears, back and down. Exhale, hips up high, downward facing dog. Inhale, rise up on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forwards, and this time cross your legs. Right knee to right wrist. Left knee, left wrist. As you come through to a seat. We're going to come through into a staff pose now. Legs out long in front of you. Again, try and engage your legs so much that maybe your heels lift off the ground a little. Sit up tall. Roll your shoulders back and down. Tuck your tailbone. Inhale, arms to come up. And exhale, maybe start with your legs bent. And hands reach forwards and down into a fold here. Relax your head down. Find the contact between your stomach and thighs first, and then maybe work to straighten your legs. Inhale and exhale. On your inhale, roll up, back to staff. This time, reach your hands behind you slightly. Point your toes now. Tuck your tailbone first and squeeze your glutes. Then start to press your hips up towards the ceiling. See if you can get your big toes to touch the mat in front of you. Head can hang back here, or option to keep it up. Keep pressing your hips up and toes down towards the mat. Exhale to come down. See if you can bring your knees up and towards you. Reach your hands forwards, almost like a boat pose. Cross your legs here. Hands reach forward, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, rise up on your toes. Coming through to your plank. Shoulders over fingers. Remembering to take that modification if you need. Exhale down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, rise up on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forwards. And again, crossing your legs through to a seat. Legs out long. This time, sit up tall first. Find your staff pose. Then bend your right knee in. And left leg out long. Inhale, reach up tall. And exhale to fold over that front leg. Knee to nose. If you're finding this hard, remember to bend your knee first and then work to straighten the leg. On an inhale, roll back up. Stretch both legs out long first. Hands beside you. Use your blocks to lift your hands up if you need. As again, we're going to try and push the floor away from us. And exhale to release. Left leg comes in this time. Inhale, big stretch up. Tuck your tailbone, find length. And exhale to fold, bending through your right knee if you need to. Knee to nose or shin. Once you have stomach to thigh, perhaps you want to work to straighten your leg, maintaining that contact. As you hold, inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale, maybe try and go down a little further. And inhale, roll up. Both legs stretch out long. And see if you can press the floor away. If you're finding it hard, bum could just come off the mat. See if you can hold yourself. As you lower down, lean back, cross your legs, reach your hands forwards, and step your feet back to your downward facing dog, hips up high. Inhale, round through your back, rise up onto your toes, rolling yourself forwards, plank, then high plank, shoulders over fingers. Exhale, down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Thighs off the floor, keep pulling your chest forwards. Exhale, hips up high, downward facing dog. Inhale, rise up on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forwards. Cross your legs. Lean back this time, sitting on your bum as you bring your knees into your chest. Shins parallel to the ground here, and reach your arms forwards. Option to work to straighten the legs here in your boat pose if you like. If not, keep your legs bent. Wherever you are, reach your chest forwards towards your legs, roll your shoulders back and down. Up dog chest here. Coming back into bent legs, we're going to rock and roll up and down our mat. Next time as you roll up, see if you can reach your hands forwards. Without using your hands, come into a low squat. Use your hands if you need. From your low squat, option to take a side crow. So plant your hands on your mat in the middle and then walk your feet over to the right hand side first. Elbows bend, think chaturanga arms. Thighs rest on the top part of your arms as you start to lean forwards, taking your weight in your side crow. Gaze forwards and then lower down. Hold your low squat if you prefer. Maybe you could practice rocking backwards and forwards, taking some weight on your wrists. If you're doing your side crow, hands stay in the middle, feet walk over to the left hand side this time. Chaturanga arms as you match your thighs up with your upper arms and lean forwards, gaze forwards. Fingers spread wide. Always spread your fingers when you're working on the mat. And we return everybody to our low squat on the mat. Plant your hands and step your feet back to your downward facing dog. Keep pushing through those shoulders. Inhale, rise up on your toes. Push the ground away from you. Shoulders over fingers. Exhale, lower down through chaturanga. Shoulders in line with your elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips up high. Downward facing dog. Inhale, rise up on your toes once more. And roll through to your high plank, shoulders over fingers. This time, we bend our elbows, keeping them in. We're lowering all the way down to the ground this time. See if you can hold and then lower. Untuck your toes at the back. Reach your hands towards your feet and forehead and rest on the ground here for a moment. Engage through your legs first. Squeeze your glutes. Then roll your shoulders back and down as we do an up dog. Then legs come off the mat, arms come off, peel your chest off the mat and pull it through towards the front edge of the mat. Tuck your chin here to keep your neck long. And exhale, release. Option to go for the same again, or if you'd like, bend your knees this time. Find the outer edges of your feet with your hands. And engage through your legs first. Forehead to the mat. Peel your shoulders back and down and press your tops of your feet into your hands, pulling your chest through. Hold here in your bow pose and exhale, release. Forehead to the mat again, hands come underneath your shoulders. Either come through tabletop or tuck your toes and press your hips up high into your downward facing dog. Inhale, rise up on your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forwards, and cross your legs again. Coming back through into your boat pose. So lean back, balance on your bum, find parallel with your shins, reach your hands forwards. Option to straighten the legs here, or keep them bent. Just make sure to keep pulling your chest forwards. Start to slowly lower down. We're coming into low boat. So keep your flat back, keep squeezing your glutes and your legs to find low boat. Back flat on the floor, legs long, hands reach towards your feet and relax. Bend your legs, feet come to the mat now. Keep them hips distance apart and try and get your heels as close to your bum as you can. If you can touch your heels, that's where you want your feet to be. Really tuck your tailbone now. Press your back as flat as you can into the mat. Then engage your glutes and start to peel your tailbone and the bottom of your back off the mat first before the middle. And then hips up high into your bridge pose. Option to take a bind of your hands underneath you. Keep your thighs parallel and your glutes squeezed. And exhale to release. Option to repeat this, or this time, keeping your feet the same and the action the same, you could push up into your wheel pose. So arms reach out first. Need to shuffle down. Arms reach out first, then bend your elbows up towards the ceiling, hands come underneath your shoulders. If you're going for your bridge, hands stay down. Wherever you are in your preparation, tuck your tailbone, back comes really flat on the mat first. Then squeeze your glutes, start to peel the lower back off your mat first, then push your hips up high. If you're in your wheel, look towards your hands. See if you can work to get your shoulders over your wrists. Pull your chest through your shoulders as we do an upward facing dog. Exhale to lower wherever you are. And really pull your knees into your chest this time. Maybe even see you can get your nose to lift up towards them. And from here, rocking backwards and forwards again. Reach your hands forwards, come up to that squat position. This time, if you'd like to have a go, when you get through to the squat, plant your hands on the floor and see if you can do a little bunny jump or hop up into a tuck handstand. So start rolling backwards and forwards first, and then come up through squat. Use your hands if you need to. Plant your hands and you're jumping your hips up high. Have a play with 2 more of these if you'd like. If not, just continue your rocking backwards and forwards. And wherever you are, we'll meet in our low squat with our feet together. Step back to your downward facing dog. Last chaturanga of the class now. Inhale, rise up on your toes. Shoulders lean forwards over your fingers. Bend your arms down. Keep your elbows close to your ribs, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Pull your shoulders back. And exhale, hips up high. Downward facing dog. From here, right knee is going to come towards your right wrist this time. and come down into your pigeon. Lower your hips down. A block underneath your hips here can be really helpful if you're feeling a little tight. Inhale to find length first, and then exhale to fold. Maybe your head comes to a block, maybe your forearms, whatever feels good to you. Relax here. You've earned it. Try and keep relaxing through your shoulders, pulling them further away from your ears. On your next inhale, slowly start to walk your hands up. Push through your hands, tuck your toes at the back, and come back into your downward facing dog. Left leg forward this time, knee towards your left wrist. Grab your block if you would like it under your hip. Untuck your toe at the back. Pigeon pose on the left hand side. Inhale to find length first, and then exhale to fold over that front leg. Shoulders away from your ears. Relax your head. Maybe try and sink a little lower. Relax a bit more on every exhale. Inhale and exhale to relax. On your next inhale, start to slowly come up. Press your hands into the mat. Tuck your back toe and press up to your downward facing dog. There is an option for one last inversion here. If you prefer to hold downward facing dog or child's pose, that's where we'll be heading afterwards, into child's pose. If you'd like to go ahead and go there straight away. If not, come down onto your knees. And if you'd like to have a go at your headstand, make your basket first with your hands and place your elbows so they're underneath your shoulders. The basket's for your back of your head and the top of your head comes down to the mat. But you shouldn't feel loads of weight through your head in your headstand. It should come through your push in your shoulders. So push through your forearms, elbows and shoulders, rise up onto your toes and walk your feet in as close to your body as you can get. Maybe you stop here for today, or perhaps you want to work at lifting one toe at a time. If you have your headstand, make sure you lift up rather than jumping, which will prevent you from falling over the top. Squeeze your glutes like we do in plank. Even if you're in that tuck shape, make sure your legs are engaged. We'll hold for 3 more. 2. And slowly Control it down. Coming into your child's pose. Forehead to touch the mat, shoulders drape down, relax. Pull your bum towards your heels. Relax your fingers. Inhale and exhale to relax. Inhale and exhale. When you're ready, plant your hands and just come through to a seat and make your way down to your Shavasana, lying flat on the mat. Let your toes fall out towards the edges of your mat now. Palms facing up. Shoulders back and down. And maybe tuck your chin just slightly to keep that length in your neck. Feel the weight of your body against the mat and let it support you here. Just notice your breath as we did at the beginning of the practice today. And take as much time as you need here in your Shavasana today. When you do start to make your way out, just make sure you take your time. Maybe rolling onto one side first before you sit up. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed my rocket yoga sequence. See you again soon.